Sergeant Mara Kincaid cinched the backplate strap across her scarred lower back. Pain lanced up her spine, a familiar fire from the shrapnel that had torn through her 2 campaigns ago. She ignored it. The palace armory hummed with klaxons. Vec strike inbound. She snapped the chest plate locks next. Human Sergeant. Queen Seralith Ven's voice sliced the air like a command blade. Silk robes swirled as the alien ruler strode in, her iridescent exoskeleton gleaming under the glow strips. 6 guards flanked her, mandibles clicking in alert. Stand at attention. Kincaid pivoted mid-motion, backplate half secured. The motion pulled her tunic aside, exposing the puckered 8-inch scar snaking from spine to hip. Raw, unhealed tissue that no alien regen tech could fully mend. She locked eyes with the queen, feet planted shoulder-width. "Ma'am, don't bear a death." Seralith froze. Her multifaceted eyes widened, antennae quivering. The scar's jagged edges inflamed and weeping faint serum stole her breath. No Vec claw mark, no plasma burn. Just brutal, unyielding damage humans carried like baggage. What inflicted that? Seralith's voice cracked, protocol forgotten. Guards shifted, mandibles rasping. Shrapnel from a collapsing bunker, ma'am. Kincaid tugged the backplate final notch, wincing once but holding stance. Krakow front, took out my squad's evac shuttle. I dragged Lieutenant Culler, Reyes 2 clicks to rally point. Fought off 3 Vec scouts en route, cleared field meds 6 hours later. She shouldered her pulse rifle. Deployment orders, ma'am? Enemy ETA 7 minutes. Seralith's claws twitched. Humans bore such ruin without collapse. Her kind severed limbs before enduring half that agony. You functioned with this embedded? Extracted post-op. Scars cosmetic. Kincaid chambered a round lie, but close enough. Palace perimeters then. Need me on the line. Commander, Irix Tall burst through the armory doors, his armored bulk blocking the exit. Queen, withdraw to core bunker. Humans handle the breach. His gaze drilled Kincaid. Liaison protocol. No front line for off-world irregulars. Lieutenant Dawn, Jonah Reyes followed, tablet in hand. Human calm etched his face. Commander, joint doctrine says integrate. Vec hit us coordinated. 3 vectors. Queen's insight turns the tide. He nodded to Kincaid. Sarge, east walls folding. Take your squad. Seralith raised a claw, silencing Irix. Kincaid's scar burned in her vision. This human moved like the wound was nothing. He died. I lead from command nexus. Sergeant Kincaid, you shadow me. Prove your routine holds. Kincaid saluted. Yes, ma'am. They moved. The nexus thrummed. Polo maps pulsing red as Vec dropships slammed the outer ring. Irix barked orders to his guards. Rigid phalanxes, energy shields in lockstep grids. Aliens excelled at precision walls, unbreakable under massed fire. But Vec exploited gaps. Flank breach, Sector 4, Reyes called. Drones swarmed the display, their strike lead Karun's signature. Opportunist. Bets we shatter on protocol, Irix snarled. Shields hold, reinforce center. Kincaid leaned in, rifle slung. No, sir. Vec feint center, punch east. My squad draws fire. You collapse the pocket. Her back throbbed from the march, but she traced the hollow line steady. Seralith's antennae flicked. Humans charged wounds. Her warriors demanded perfection. Irix, execute her vector. Queen, Irix protested. Now. Seralith's voice hardened. Kincaid's matter-of-fact grit echoed in her core. Explosions rocked the palace. Vec raiders poured through east vents. Clawed horrors with plasma lances, mandibles foaming kilchem. Kincaid's squad met them at the choke. Rifles barked. Dropping the lead wave, she fired from the hip, nailing a leaper midair. A lance grazed her pauldron. She rolled, came up firing. Back screamed, scar tissue ripping under torque. Blood slicked her armor. She pushed through, barking, Reyes, drones left! Irix's phalanx locked the center flawlessly, shields a shimmering dome. Vec reeled, diverted east into Kincaid's killbox, but Karun adapted. His command skimmer hovered, lances carving a breach. Aliens break first, his vox snarled across channels. Queen's head for the consortium. A raider bull rushed Kincaid. Claws raked her thigh. She drove her rifle butt into its eye stalk, emptied the mag into its thorax, leg buckled, but she reloaded one-handed. Pain blurred vision. Still, she advanced. Seralith watched from Nexus feed, hearts pounding. Kincaid bled, yet charged. Her own guards faltered at lesser wounds. Protocol demanded retreat. Irix yelled, "Pull back! Shield's failing." No, Seralith seized a comm. "Sergeant, direct link, flank, Karun skimmer. My phalanx covers." Kincaid keyed in, voice gravel. "Copy. Back's lit, but I'm on it." She vaulted debris, squad peeling off to hold line. Vec closed. Her scar wept openly now, armor chafing raw flesh, each step ground bone. Reyes patched drone overwatch. "Sarge incoming, ma'am." Karun's exposed. Seralith gripped the hollow console. "Trust the human's routine." She signaled Irix. "Phalanx advance. Personal lead." Irix balked. "Queen, no!" She strode out, guards trailing. Nexus to breach. 200 meters of hellfire. Vec lances scorched walls. Seralith raised her scepter. Personal shield emitter, Queen's relic. "For Ven!" Kincaid hit the skimmer low. Karun whirled. Lance sweeping. She dodged, backplate slamming a strut. Agony exploded, old shrapnel site hemorrhaging. She triggered grenade, blasting the underbelly. Skimmer listed. Karun leaped down, claws gleaming. "Human meat! Queen bait!" Kincaid met him head-on. Rifle jammed. She drew vibro-knife, slashed his reaching arm. He gashed her shoulder. She twisted, drove blade into his ventral plate. They grappled. Her vision tunneled, pain a white roar. Karun's chem phone splashed her faceplate. Burning seals. Seralith's phalanx arrived. Shields interlocked, lances spearing Vec remnants. The Queen blasted Karun's flank with her scepter. He shrieked, recoiled. Kincaid finished him, knife through mandible joint. Vec broke. Remaining raiders fled under drone fire. Kincaid slumped against the skimmer husk. Blood pooled. She waved off medics. "Clear, ma'am." Seralith knelt beside her, claws gentle on the human's helm release. The scar glared, torn wider, defiant. Kincaid breathed steady, eyes clear. No plea, no collapse. "You redefine strength," Seralith whispered. Antennae brushed Kincaid's brow. "Sacrifice is not loss. It is your weapon." Kincaid grinned through blood. "Just Tuesday, ma'am." "Orders?" Irix landed nearby, mandibles agape. Reyes clapped her pauldron, alliance held, rewritten in human grit. But outer sensors pinged. Karun's reserves inbound. Seralith stood, pulling Kincaid up. Together. Again. "KMW Tal, attend me now." Queen Seralith Ven's scepter cracked against the dais. Echoes raced through the vaulted throne hall. Her palace guard snapped to attention, iridescent carapaces gleaming under crystal lights. Outer sensors had pinged Vec probes hours ago. Karun's raiders circled like scavengers. The human alliance demanded proof of readiness. Tal burst through the archway, his lance reversed in salute. "Majesty." "Your will?" Readiness check on the human unit. Full protocols. No delays. Seralith's mandibles clicked sharp. Humans fought like feral storms. Unpredictable. She needed control. Protocol ensured it. Tal bowed low. "At once, Majesty." "Their sergeant awaits in the lower armory." Seralith's antennae twitched. She rose, robes whispering over the polished floor. "I will observe." Tal's facets widened fractionally. He led her down spiraling ramps, past drone sentries humming in alcoves. The air thickened with chem scent from human quarters, sweat and oil, alien to her senses. Sergeant Mara Kincaid stood rigid, in the armory glow, rifle slung, fatigue scarred from prior drops. Lieutenant Jonah Reyes flanked her, tablet in hand. Kincaid's eyes locked forward, jaw set. No salute. Humans bowed to function, not form. Tal halted 10 paces out. "Sergeant Kincaid, safety protocols commence. State your unit's loadout." Kincaid stepped forward. Standard squad, 12 rifles, 4 heavies. Demo packs. Grenades sim unlocked. "No live ordnance." Tal's voice sliced. "Palace corridors forbid it. Your kinds." Enthusiasm breaches containment fields. Kincaid's gaze flicked to Seralith. "Steady." "Understood, Commander." "Sim rounds only." Reyes nodded. "Doctrine aligns. We train as we fight." Tal gestured to his guards. 4 phalanx closed ranks, lances humming. "Demonstrate breach clearance." Corridors Alpha 7 to Delta 9, 60 seconds to neutralize holograms. Guards will simulate interference. Kincaid unslung her rifle. Timed drill accepted. Start chrono on entry. Seralith watched from the overlook perch, claws gripping the rail. Humans pushed limits casually. This proved leash-fitting. Tal activated the corridor seals. Holo-emitters whirred to life beyond. Vec phantoms shimmered into being. Claws extended. "Begin!" Kincaid exploded forward. Boots pounded marble. She stacked at the first junction, rifle sweeping. A holo raider lunged, her burst shredded its core. "Clear left," guards shifted. One accidentally extended his shield, blocking her angle. Kincaid vaulted it without pause, rolled and tagged 2 phantoms mid-air, her back twisted. Seralith caught the flicker in her stance. Old injury? Obstruction logged. Shield protrude at 008. Kincaid's voice echoed cool over comms. Reyes tapped his tablet. Tal's mandibles ground. "Focus, human." Kincaid pieced a corner. Drones popped from vents. Vec Sims. She slid low, rifle barking precise. A guard stumbled, lance sweeping her path. She ducked, fired under his arm. Dropped the drone. Interference logged. Lance sweep. 022. Adjusted fireline. Seralith leaned closer. The human moved like liquid fury. Palace corridors twisted labyrinthine. Her own guards trained months to map them. Kincaid treated them as killhouse. Halfway mark. Hollow swarms boiled from side passages. Kincaid slapped a breaching charge sim. Door vaporized in light. She flowed through, rifle never dipping. Guard phalanx tightened ahead, forming a defensive wall. Halt. Protocol requires escort. Drill parameters, unhindered sim. Kincaid shouldered past, elbow nudging carapace. She fired from hip, cores popping. Pain flashed across her face. Back arched wrong. She ignored it. Knife flashing to slash a flank hollow. Contact logged. Unauthorized block. 041. Reyes's voice calm. Tal signaled. His second guard triggered a chem mist sim. Vec foam analog slicking the floor. Kincaid slipped, hit the deck hard. Her back took the impact. Seralith winced. Humans broke under less. Kincaid rolled up instantly. Rifle steady. Hazard logged. Contaminant deploy. 049. Counter. Maintain footing. Final corridor. Boss hollow loomed. Karoon facsimile. Lance whirling. Guards converged. Shields interlocked. End. Simulation. Kincaid charged. She feinted left, crashed right through a gap. Rifle jammed sim realistic malfunction. She drew vibro knife, slashed the hollow's arm projection. Knife kill. Blade plunged core. Timer beeped. 59.87 seconds. Silence crashed. Kincaid stood amid flickering hollows, chest heaving minimal, back hunched slight. Sweat beat at her neck. No groan, no slump. Tal stormed forward. Reckless! You endangered the Queen's halls. Kincaid faced him, knife sheathed. Mission parameters met. Logs forwarded to Lieutenant Reyes. Obstructions. 5. All protocol deviations by your guard. Reyes projected the tablet feed. Holo replay rolled, each interference time-stamped. Kincaid adapting seamless. Seralith descended the ramp, scepter humming, guards parted. Kincaid straightened, back pain masked in parade rest. Up close, the human's eyes burned clear. No defiance, just fact. Sergeant. Seralith circled her. Antennae brushed Kincaid's shoulder. Heat radiated, mortal furnace. Your wound. It flares. Kincaid blinked once. Old shrapnel, ma'am. Routine doesn't slow the job. Tal bristled. Majesty. Humans are volatile. Deny her. Silence. Seralith's voice cut diamond. She traced the rifle's sim mag. Empty. It had felled a palace in seconds. Vec struck soon. Karoon targeted her throne. Symbols broke alliances. Leaders endured. You logged every breach. Seralith's claws clicked approval. Trust demands proof. Yours given. Tal's facets darkened. Majesty. Overruled. Seralith met Kincaid's gaze. Operational authority granted. One mission. Defend the outer bastion. Live ammo. Your rules. Kincaid saluted crisp. Roger, ma'am. Squad preps in 5. Reyes grinned faint. Alliance tightens. Seralith nodded. Humans redefined strength, not in carapace or lance, but scarred flesh pushing. Routine. Her palace, once sanctuary, now battlefield echo. Karun's reserves inbound. Trust forged in 60 seconds, but as Kincaid turned, her back spasmed hidden. She powered through. Seralith saw. Sacrifice weaponized. Alarms wailed distant. Vex skimmers breached Atmo. Together, Seralith said. Kincaid nodded. They moved as one. Commander Irix Tall shadowed from the rear. Lance tight. He distrusted the humans' calm. Reyes fed tech data. Enemy lance formations, weak ventral plates, flank low, get joints. Seralith gripped her scepter. Personal weapon, untested in dirt. Protocol shattered. Kincaid led point through bastion tunnels. Squad fanned tight. Human resilience pulled aliens into grit. First Vec patrol hit at Junction Bravo. Claws scraped stone. Kincaid dropped prone. Rifle cracked. Raider crumpled. Mandible shattered. Suppress right. Her squad poured fire. Methodical. No waste. Seralith's phalanx locked shields. Lances thrusting. Beck-hem foam splattered harmless. One guard fell. Acid-eating carapace. Kincaid dragged him back. Slapped sealant. Hold formation. Tal speared a raider clean. She risks. Results. Seralith blasted a flank crawler. Energy core plasma bolts scorched the tunnel wall inches from Seralith's crest. She ducked behind her phalanx's interlocking shields. Energy core discharge from her scepter still hummed in her grip. The Vec flank crawler twitched in death throes, its chem sprayers leaking foam. Kincaid didn't flinch. The human surged forward, rifle barking precise bursts. Another raider dropped, its ventral plate cracked open. Gate breach confirmed, Reyes shouted over comms. Outer ward dark. Vec cut power. Skimmers inbound on throneward. Seralith's mandibles clicked. Karun's opportunists struck now. Her palace perimeter crumbled. Alarms screamed through the stone corridors. Kincaid vaulted a fallen guard's body. She snatched his shield unit, alien tech, bulky emitter humming to life. Blue haze flickered around her as she slapped it onto her harness. Shield up! Counter push into smoke! Kincaid yelled. Her squad, humans and mixed aliens, tightened on her. They plunged into the billowing chem cloud from the dead crawler. Seralith gripped her scepter tighter. Protocol demanded retreat to throneward core, but Kincaid led into the breach. The human's back, scarred flesh, visible through torn uniform, twitched once. She ignored it. Irix Tal blocked Seralith's path. Majesty. Fall back. Humans draw fire. No. Seralith shoved past, her phalanx reformed around her. We hold with them. Kincaid's voice cut through static. Fire teams, mark my beacons, flank the gate. Smoke choked the outer ward tunnel. Emergency lumens flickered red. Vec raiders poured through the breached gate, clawed hulks in void black armor, lances spitting plasma. A grazing shot clipped Kincaid's shoulder. Armor plate vaporized, flesh burned. She staggered one step. Seralith's primary eyes widened. Humans broke under less. But Kincaid straightened. She tapped her visor, painting laser targets on 3 raiders' joints. Fire now. Alien fire teams unleashed. Lances pierced weak ventral plates. Vec screamed, collapsing in heaps. Kincaid kept moving. Blood seeped from her shoulder. She pumped her rifle one-handed, dropping a crawler mid-charge. Tal's lance thrust beside her. Insane. She bleeds and advances. Effective, Seralith snapped. She leveled her scepter. Energy bolt vaporized a raider's head. The Queen's guards cheered. Protocol be damned. Reyes fed data. Enemy reserves at gate. Karun leads. Target the Queen's ward. Kincaid reached the ward lip. Smoke swirled thick. A Vec patrol dragged an injured alien guard, Tal's subordinate, toward the breach. Kincaid didn't hesitate. She slung her rifle, charged low, grabbed the guard's carapace, dragged him backward through mud and foam. Plasma grazed her again. This time on the thigh. She grunted, kept pulling. Seralith watched from cover. The human's face twisted, pain raw but controlled. Kincaid slammed the guard behind a stanchion, pulled a hypo from her kit, jammed field coagulant into his neck joint. Salant in, breeze steady. Kincaid slapped his helm. You're covered. The guard rasped gratitude, claws flexed. He raised his lance. Kincaid spun back to the fight. Her back spasmed, old wound flaring under strain. She rolled it off, rifle up. Seralith's comms officer patched throneward feed. Holo display flickered in her visor. Multiple angles. Kincaid's route lit red. Vec swarming. Lockdown throneward. Seralith ordered. Route Alpha around Sergeant Kincaid's position. No evac without her squad. Irix protested. Majesty. Humans unpredictable. She draws Karun here. Results, Commander. Seralith blasted another raider. She proved strength. Kincaid's beacon pulsed. She led the counterpush. Squad fanned into the smoke-filled ward. Humans fired disciplined volleys. No panic. No waste. Aliens locked shields, thrusting lances into joints. A Vex skimmer crashed through the gate overhead. Rotors whirred. It dropped raiders like rain. Skimmer ventral, Reyes called. Kincaid, low flank. The human dropped prone, marked the weak plate. Her squad's grenades arced perfect. Explosion ripped the craft apart. Wreckage slammed the deck. Seralith's phalanx pushed up. She stood amid the chaos, scepter blazing. For the first time, her guards saw their queen in the grit, not on a throne. Tell speared aboard her. She injects our wounded. Risks for us. Kincaid waved them forward. Queen's inbound. Secure the gate! Vec chem foam splattered Seralith's shield. Acid hissed. She held firm. Karun's voice boomed over hacked comms. Alien ruler exposed. Humans falter first. Yield the palace. Kincaid laughed. Short, fierce. Come get it. She charged the gate breach. Shield emitter whined overload. It flickered out. Plasma bolts hammered her position. Seralith's hearts raced. The human took direct hits. Armor shredded. She dropped to a knee. Back arched in agony. Old scar tore open. But Kincaid rose. Rifle cracked. Karun's lead raider exploded. Gate. Sealed. Raykar dominated. Squad piled barricades. Seralith reached her side. Guards formed wall. Sergeant, your wound? Routine, ma'am. Kincaid reloaded. Blood soaked her back. Paid worse stateside. Push? Seralith stared. Human flesh. Soft, scarred, endured. Her carapace cracked under half this. Strength redefined. Not invulnerable shell, but scarred will pushing routine. Together. Seralith raised scepter. Throneward holds. Irix nodded respect. Human leads. We follow. Reyes grinned. Alliance, solid. But feeds showed Karun's reserves massing. Skimmers darkened the ward sky. One breached inner lockdown. Kincaid marked it. Queen, your call. Flank or hold. Seralith decided. Personal leadership now. Flank. Use my phalanx shields. They moved as one. Human grit pulled alien steel into rhythm. Plasma rained. Kincaid took another graze. Arm this time. She marked targets. Aliens fired true. A guard fell beside her. Kincaid dragged him again. Coagulant. Hypo. Empty. She used her belt sealant. Human patch on alien shell. Tal watched. You sacrifice for us. Teamwork. Kincaid stood. Rifle empty. She grabbed a fallen lance. Alien weapon, awkward in human hands. Thrust it home. Seralith blasted cover. Her scepter overheated, venting steam. She fought bare now. Karun dropped from a skimmer. Massive. Claws gleaming. Queen falls. Humans break. Kincaid faced him. Lance ready. Back screaming. Bet against us. Seralith flanked. Phalanx locked. Human endurance forced her hand. Direct in the smoke. First clash. Karun's claw raked Kincaid's shield arm. She spun, lance piercing his leg joint. He roared. Swiped again. Kincaid dodged. Old back seized. She powered through. Now. Seralith's scepter, cooled. Blasted point blank. Karun staggered. Tal finished him. Lance through core. Gate secured. Reserves routed. Seralith panted. Kincaid slumped against wall. Blood pooled. Seralith touched the human's scar. Rewrite strength. Kincaid saluted weak. Just duty, ma'am. Alarms quieted. But deep scans pinged. Vec core strike inbound. Throneward core exposed. Reyes. Karun was probe. Main force hits now. Seralith straightened. Kincaid, Commander. Irix Tall clamped a gauntleted hand on Sergeant Mara Kincaid's pauldron. Stand down, Sergeant. Medical bay. Now. Kincaid leaned against a gate wall. Blood slicked her armor seals. Her back throbbed from the old wound, flared fresh by Karun's swipe. She ignored it. Alarms wailed. Deep scans flashed red on her HUD. Vec Core strike inbound. Throne room, exposed. No time, Commander. Kincaid shrugged off his grip. Her voice stayed level.
Main force breaches in 60 seconds.
Tal blocked her path. His mandibles clicked in frustration. You slumped like ruptured hull. Protocol demands pullback. Queen orders it. Kincaid eyed the corridor. Alien medics hustled wounded guards toward the rear. Plasma scars smoked on the walls. Reyes' voice crackled over comms. Lieutenant Reyes to all units. Vac skimmers inbound. Gate 2 compromised. Evacuate throne dais now. Tal jabbed a talon toward her. You prove nothing staying. Collapse, and we lose line. Kincaid snapped her armor seals shut. Seals hissed green. Pain lanced her shoulder. Jammed actuator from the dodge. Watch me hold it. She pushed past. Tal snarled. Signaled 2 guards. They lunged to grab her. Kincaid sidestepped. Dropped into a combat crouch. Her rifle hung empty. She snatched a fallen alien pulse lance instead. Breach point. That's the line. Tal's guards hesitated. He waved them back. Insane human. You'll die. Duty first. Kincaid sprinted down the corridor. Boots pounded ferrocrete. Her back screamed with each stride. Old scar tissue pulled tight. Shrapnel from Vega 4. 5 years buried under rubble. Routine endurance. Her squad called it. She hit the junction. Breach point loomed. Gate 2. A jagged maw of twisted alloy. Vec drones buzzed through, disgorging raiders. Alien phalanx fired back, but faltered. Wounded clogged the evac lane. Kincaid dove behind a barricade, shoulder locked up. Actuator whined, frozen mid-cycle. She couldn't aim straight. Grit teeth. She yanked a bite block from her med pouch, rubberized slab for field resets. Jammed it between molars, bit down hard. Breathe. In through nose. 4 counts. Hold. Out through mouth. 6 counts. Chest rose steady. Pain dulled to white noise. Twist. She gripped her left pauldron with right hand. Powered shoulder servos to max. Muscle and alloy ground together. Pop. Actuator reset. Arm swung free. She spat the block. Grabbed her demo pack. 4 charges, mag sealed to belt. Raiders poured in. Claws shredded a guard. Phalanx line buckled. Kincaid rolled forward. Lance thrust. Pierced a drone's core. It sparked out. She slapped charges on the gate frame. Primed timer. 20 seconds. Synced to evac flow. Charges hot! She barked over open channel. Clear gate in 15! Phalanx snapped to. Guards dragged wounded faster. Evac lane surged. Baal's voice cut in. Human. Abort. Queen countermands. Too late. Kincaid fired the lance. Blue pulses vaporized 2 raiders. She backed toward the lane, back spasmed. Ignored it. Timer. 10 seconds. Vec strike lead bellowed from a skimmer perch. Another Karun type, bulkier. Flood them. Queen dies today. Evac cleared the kill zone. Kincaid hit the detonator. Boom. Gate frame erupted. Shrapnel scythed the breach. Raiders shredded mid-charge. Skimmer crumpled. Lead crushed beneath. Phalanx reformed. Cheers rippled. Alien warbles mixed with human hoops. Kincaid slumped against a stanchion. Vision blurred. Blood loss hit hard. Shoulder bled fresh from the reset. Back. Fire. Now. Medics swarmed. One scanned her. Severe trauma. Core breach imminent. Patch and send up. She rasped. Line holds. They dragged her to forward aid station. Hypojab numbed the arm. Sealant foamed her back. Scans lit up the old wound. Scar tissue thick as plating. Nerves rewired around shrapnel ghosts. Tall stormed in. Reckless. You timed blast to our evacuate. Near miss. Kincaid sat up. Flexed shoulder. Precise hit. Gates slag. Line holds. He glared. Mandibles flexed. Queen reviews your file. Vega 4. Buried 3 days. No evac call. Why? Routine. She stood. Armor groaned. Squad needed breach covered. Tall's optics widened. You rewrote evac protocol for them. Teamwork. Alarm spiked again. Reyes. Reserves. Inbound. But core strike pivots. Throne ward direct. Tal keyed his comm. Queen. Human stabilized. But footsteps echoed. Queen Saralith then swept into the station. Her scepter glowed low. Steam vents cooled. Crown ridges flared with urgency. Guards flanked, but she waved them aside. Eyes locked on Kincaid. Report, Sergeant. Kincaid saluted. Weak, but crisp. Gate sealed, ma'am. Vex stalled. Saralith approached. Tal tensed. Highness. Protocol. She silenced him with a raised talon. Touched Kincaid's armor seal. Scanned the readouts herself. Back wound. Vega 4. Kincaid nodded. Old news. Scans say active rupture. Saralith's voice dropped. You reset actuator. Bit through pain. Planted charges mid-evac. Standard field repair. Kincaid met her gaze. No flinch. Saralith traced the scar readout. Alien fingers hovered. Precise. Humans called this routine. We call it rewrite. Tal shifted. Highness. Throne exposed. We fall back. No. Saralith straightened. Crown pulsed command blue. Alliance demands direct. Sergeant Kincaid holds breach. I lead phalanx. Kincaid blinked. Ma'am, you're ruler in war. Saralith gripped her scepter. Trust proven. Yours first. Tal protested. Unprecedented. New precedent. Saralith turned to Kincaid. Coordinate? Kincaid grinned through pain. Flank and pin, ma'am. My lance. Your scepter? They moved as one. Phalanx parted. Queen at front. Human beside. Corridor shook. Vec breached throne ward. Core strike hummed. Massive boarship ramming hull. Reyes patched in. Inbound confirmed. 30 seconds. Kincaid chambered lance round. Back burned. Ignored. They bet we break. Saralith scepter word hot. We redefine break. Raiders flooded. Claws met steel. Queen blasted first wave. Kincaid thrust into the gap. Shoulder held. Pain fueled her. Tal covered rear. Phalanx lock! Vec lead roared from boarship ramp. Queen exposed. End her. Saralith flanked left. Kincaid right. Lance pierced drone swarm. Not today. Strike. Lead charged. Claws swung wide. Kincaid dodged. Back seized full. She powered through. Bite block urge rising. Thrust home. Leg joint popped. Lead swiped. Grazed her side. Armor sparked. Saralith's scepter overheated. Point blank blast. Lead staggered. Kincaid finished. Lance core strike. Dead. Boarship whined. Self-destruct pinged. Evac! Kincaid yelled. Grabbed Saralith's arm. Pulled her clear. Explosion rocked throne ward. Hull held. Phalanx secured. Reserves poured in. Saralith panted beside Kincaid. Touched the fresh graze. Endurance. Sacrifice. Rewritten. Kincaid slumped to one knee. Vision tunneled. Medics pinned Kincaid to the aid station slab. Nanite injectors hummed against her grazed side. She gritted teeth. Back wound, throbbed like fire under the fresh agony. Queen Saralith then shoved through the cluster of white-robed attendants. Her scepter still glowed from cooldown. Palace guards flanked her. Cambered Eric's tall at point. Remove your armor, Sergeant, Saralith commanded. Voice cut the sterile hum, all of it. Now. Kincaid locked eyes with the Queen. No flinch. She waved off a medic's claw. Sat up. Fingers worked the backplate seals. Seals hissed open. Plate clattered to the deck. Gasps rippled through the medics. Tal stepped forward. Majesty protocol. Stand down, Commander. Saralith's gaze stayed fixed. Show me. Kincaid twisted. Pointed to the puckered scar snaking across her lower back. Entry here. Finger traced the divot. Old plasma burn from a decade-old ambush. Exit. There. She tapped the ragged outlet. Lower spine. Shattered 3 vertebrae. Fused him with rods. Been hauling gear since. Saralith leaned in. Mandibles clicked softly. Her compound eyes whirred, scanning the tissue. You fought today with this untreated boarship breach. Raider lead downed. How? Kincaid shrugged. Shoulder popped. Ignored. Routine, ma'am. Humans don't tap out easy. Medics murmured. One alien probe extended toward the scar. Kincaid slapped it away. Hands off unless asked. Tal bristled. Insolence. She's destabilizing. Lieutenant Jonah Reyes pushed into view. Human liaison. Calm as ever. She's stable, Commander. Vitals confirm. Let her talk. Seralith raised a claw. Silence fell. Sergeant. Your kind's threshold. Surrender point. Quantify it. Kincaid met the Queen's stare. Room full of medics froze. She spoke flat. Pain scale to 10? We pushed 12 before blackout. Casualty-wise, platoon holds at 60% losses. Company? 80. Fight ends when ordered, not broken. Seralith's scepter twitched. Our palace ceiling is 30%. Reserves commit only then. Vec remnants probe outer wards. Karun's death bought time, not victory. Kincaid nodded once. Exceed it. My plan. Lance teams rotate into your phalanx gaps. Humans tank the bore drills. Your scepters melt the swarms behind. We pin the next strike lead before it unloads. Tal growled. Unacceptable. Humans unpredictable. Queen, retreat to core sanctum. Reyes cut in. Commander, doctrine aligns. Sergeant Kincaid's lance held the throne ward. Trust the math. Seralith paced. Claws clicked on deck plates. Medics parted. She stopped before Kincaid. Your wound. Untreated. Yet you pulled me from blast radius. Redefined endurance. Kincaid wiped blood from lip. Price of the job, ma'am. Paid it before you were born. The Queen's mandibles flexed. A rare sign. Ven cast approval. Ceiling exceeded. Plan accepted. Clear the room. Medics scattered. Tal hesitated. Majesty dismissed. Seralith's tone brooked no argument. Guards filed out. Reyes lingered, then nodded to Kincaid and exited. Door sealed, alone with the human. Seralith activated the holotable. Palace schematics bloomed. Red blips pulsed at outer hulls. Vec probes. Brief me. Full tactical. Kincaid stood. Legs wobbled. Locked knees. Back screened. Pushed through. 3-prong assault incoming. Karun signaled it before you vaporized him. Warships at vectors. 7, 12, 19. They'll sink ram the Grand Hall. Seralith traced a claw over the hollow. Phalanx covers 2. Reserves thin. Flank 'em. Kincaid jabbed a finger. Blue overlays snapped in. Human lance paths. My team draws fire. You lead scepter volley from the dais. We collapse the ramps before drones deploy. Risk glowed crimson. Seralith's eyes narrowed. Exposure. Again. Kincaid grinned. Tooth chipped from the fight. You held the line today. We match it. The Queen hesitated. Protocol screamed retreat. Yet this human, scarred, bleeding, stood unbowed. Sacrifice rewritten. Agreed. Signal Reyes. Rally lances. Kincaid keyed her wristcom. Reyes. Prep rotation. Queen's green. Affirm, Sergeant. Reyes' voice steady. Phalanx sinking. Hollow updated. Reserves surged. Seralith gripped her scepter. They bet we break. Kincaid chambered a fresh lance round. Back wound pulsed. Fuel. We redefine it. Alarms wailed. Outer wards buckled. Probes hit. Seralith moved first. Door irised open. Kincaid at her side. Corridor swarmed with guards. Tal saluted sharp. Phalanx formed, Majesty. Advance. Seralith's voice carried. Human protocol. They charged. Boots and claws thundered. Grand Hall loomed. Hull groaned under bore drill whine. First ship punched through. Ramp dropped. Vec raiders poured. Claws gleaming, drones buzzing. Kincaid shouldered into gap. Lance barked. Raider crumpled. Pin left! Seralith's scepter whirred. Plasma arc scorched 3. Phalanx locked shields. Tal bellowed orders. Hold center! Second bore ship rammed. Shrapnel flew. Kincaid dodged. Back seized. Old scar lit like wire. Bite down. Thrust forward. Lance core stabbed a drone. Rhea's voice crackled. Third inbound. Vector 19. Seralith blasted a raider wave. Scepter overheated. She vented it one-handed. Sergeant! Flank Kincaid rolled. Pain blurred edges. Powered up. Lance pierced ramp hydraulics. Metal screamed. Raiders tumbled. Strike lead emerged. Karun second. Bulkier. Claws extended. Queen falls. Swarm. Drones engulfed. Kincaid fired blind. cleared a path. Now, ma'am. Seralith charged Deus, scepter point blank. Lead staggered, armor melted, Tal's phalanx surged. Shields bashed drones. Kincaid flanked right, leg buckled. Old wound betrayed. She drove lance anyway, impaled Lead's thigh joint, claw swiped. Raked her pauldron. Sparks flew. Kincaid twisted. Finished the thrust. Core shot. Lead dropped. Third ship whined. Self-destruct armed. Evac. Kincaid grabbed Seralith's armplate. Yanked her back. Explosion ripped hull. Hull flexed. Held. Reserves flooded. Vec remnants routed. Seralith panted. Touched Kincaid's fresh rake. Exceeded. Again. Kincaid slumped against wall. Vision grayed. Medics rushed. But Seralith waved them off. Knelt. You redefine us all, Sergeant. Kincaid forced a nod. Just starting, ma'am. Holo pinged. New blips. Fleet-scale assault. Seralith stood. Scepter ready. Then we rewrite the war. Drones swarmed the throneward's vaulted arches. Each clutched a writhing hostage. Seralith's own aides, mandibles clamped in agony. Vec strike lead, Karun's voice boomed from the lead drone's vox grill. Yield the queen, or they burst. Sergeant Fail, Mara Kincaid snapped her lance to shoulder height. Her back throbbed from the old wound, a dull fire under fresh bruises. Ignore it. She keyed her comm. Human squads, reroute to flanks. Alpha to grid 7, Bravo to 9. Pin them. Lepra CS, Jonah Reyes's calm voice cut through static. Copy, Sergeant. Vectors locked. Firing solutions uploading to alien teams now. Queen Seralith then rose from her throne. Her iridescent carapace gleamed under emergency strobes. She gripped her scepter rifle, its barrel still venting heat from the last fight. Sergeant Kincaid. Protocol demands No time, ma'am. Kincaid strode forward, boots thudding on polished stone. Alien teams into crossfire lanes. Your phalanx holds the center kill zone. Humans cover the angles. Irix Tall's guards bristled. The alien commander's crest flared in protest. Human. The queen remains behind shields. You overstep. Kincaid met his multifaceted eyes. Shields are breached. Karun wants her head. We move her, or we lose the war here. Seralith's mandibles clicked. Decision made. She unclasped her ceremonial robes, slapped a light combat harness across her thorax. Straps hissed tight. Lead on, Sergeant. Rewrite begins. Kincaid nodded once. Sharp. Reyes, suppressors on those drones. Tal, your teams. Lanes now. Plasma lances cracked. Human squads poured fire from side corridors, bolts stitching the air. Alien phalanxes advanced in lockstep, shields humming as they funneled drones into the crossfire. Hostages screamed. Drones popped in sprays of circuitry, and Iker. Karun's drone evaded, clawing toward the dais. Fools! The swarm adapts! Kincaid lunged. Her lance speared the drone's underbelly. It exploded in her face. Shrapnel pinged off her visor. She rolled, came up firing. Back, spasmed. White hot. She bit her tongue, tasted copper, pushed through. Seralith blasted 2 more drones mid-air. Her scepter hummed overload. Corridor grid. Evac route. Delta. With me, ma'am. Kincaid grabbed the queen's harness strap, yanked her toward the side arch. Tal's phalanx formed rear guard, shields bashing raiders spilling from fresh breaches. They hit the corridor grid, a maze of interlocking tunnels lit by flickering bulkheads. Alarms wailed. Kincaid's HUD blinked red. Enemy signatures closing fast. Left tunnel, double time. Kincaid shoved Seralith ahead, then spun to cover. A Vec raider burst from a vent, claws raking. She sidestepped. Lance thrust, pierced its core. It slumped, leaking. Seralith glanced back. Her compound eyes widened at the spray. Your wound. Medics. Later. Kincaid waved her forward. Pain clawed her spine with every step. Old shrapnel scar from that Arcturus drop. 5 years buried. Routine ache. Not now. Choke point ahead. A narrow junction. Blast doors half jammed from prior hits. Vec fire poured through. Bolts scorched walls, melted conduits. Rey's voice crackled. Sergeant, heavy squad inbound your position. 30 seconds. Kincaid scanned. No cover. Drones buzzed above, hostage pods dangling like bait. Ma'am. On my mark, sprint the junction. I'll shield. Seralith's crest flattened. Doubt. You cannot. Trust it. Kincaid planted her boots, activated mag clamps. Hull groaned under her weight. She angled her pauldron toward the firestorm. Go. Seralith bolted. Kincaid stepped into the lane, used her body as mobile cover, lance in one hand, free arm hooked around the queen's harness mid-stride. Bolts hammered her armor. Ceramite heated, smoked. One grazed her thigh plate, scorched flesh beneath. Pain blurred her vision. Back screamed. She pulled Seralith past the choke, hurled her into the next tunnel. Dove, after, rolled. Fired back, lance cored a drone. Hostage tumbled free. Tall's guard snatched it mid-air. They ran. Corridors twisted. Kincaid's leg buckled once. She drove on. Seralith matched pace, scepter barking shots over her shoulder. Karun's laugh echoed from walls. Vox relays, predictable. Alliance fractures. Reyes cut in. Sergeant, secondary breach. Aft sections. They're sealing you in. Kincaid shoved Seralith through the final arch. Exit doors loomed. 30 meters of open deck to the shuttle bay. Alarms blared. Bulkheads shuddered. Run, ma'am. Kincaid covered the rear. Raiders swarmed the junction behind. Her lance overheated. Barrel glowed. She vented it one-handed. Kept firing. Seralith halted at the doors, slapped the override. Nothing. Locked. Explosions rocked the deck. Karun's voice purred. Queen trapped. Humans. Expendable. Swarm ends you both. Kincaid reached her side. Back wound throbbed like a live wire. Every breath agony. She ignored it. Slapped her own override brick onto the panel. Sparks flew. Reyes. Bay doors. Manual breach. Then. Negative. Vec jammers up. Tal's phalanx pinned. You're on your own. Seralith's mandibles ground. She touched Kincaid's pauldron. Dents from the choke point still smoked. Sergeant, your armor integrity. Green enough. Lie. HUD read 42%. Backscar pulsed. Old damage flaring with new. Kincaid braced against the door. Ma'am, you command a fleet. Think like a soldier. What's the play? Seralith's eyes locked on the wound rake from earlier fight, visible through armor split. Then lower. Kincaid's subtle limp, the gray sweat beading her face. Human face. No crest flare, no pheromone vents, just grit. Hidden thresholds. Seralith vented her scepter. Gripped Kincaid's lance arm. You bear scars like stars. We rewrite. Together. Kincaid grinned through pain. Damn right. Raiders breached the arch. Karun at lead, claws extended, bulkier than his drones. Endgame. Kincaid fired first. Bolt clipped his shoulder pauldron. He roared, charged. Seralith yanked a grenade from her harness, armed it. Cover! Kincaid mag clamped again. Body blocked the lane. Seralith lobbed. Grenade arced perfect. Detonated mid-swarm. Raiders shredded. Karun lunged through smoke. Claws slashed. Kincaid parried with lance haft. Sparks. Her back seized. Full spasm. She dropped to one knee. Vision tunneled. Seralith fired point blank. Scepter melted Karun's arm guard. He swiped at her. Caught her harness. Tore straps. Kincaid surged up. Pain exploded. She rammed her pauldron into Karun's midsection. Drove him back. Lance thrust. Thigh joint. Like before. He howled. Finish it! Seralith blasted his core. Armor bubbled. Karun slumped. Claws twitched. Humans. Break worlds. Doors hissed. Override kicked. Tal's phalanx burst through. Shields first. Queen. Reserves flooded the grid. Vec routed. Kincaid sagged against the bulkhead. Sergeant Mara Kincaid clamped her left hand over the ragged tear in her side. Blood oozed through fingers. She triggered the plasma torch in her right. White-hot flame kissed the sealed door's lock plate. Metal bubbled and spat. Queen Seralith then gripped her scepter tighter. The command vault's alarms wailed. Raider breaches echoed from outer corridors. Sergeant, your wound. Later. Kincaid carved downward. Sparks showered her boots. Pain throbbed from the fresh gash, but her old back scar burned hotter. Decade-old shrapnel bite. Routine for her. Doors mag-sealed. Torch eats it in 30. Seralith's crest flared amber. Caution. Her guard's commander. Irix Tall among them shifted shields. Tall's vents hissed distrust. Human recklessness endangers the Queen. Protocol demands retreat conduits. Kincaid didn't glance back. Torch sliced horizontal. Protocols breached. Deck wedge hits the palace core. We lead the counter or they take your throne. Edge glowed red. She kicked. Plate fell inward. Seralith's eyes fixed on Kincaid's armor split. Back scar peeked through, jagged pale laced with faded burns. Human flesh. No regen weave. No vents to purge agony. Just endurance. LT Reyes. Patch me to all channels. Palace-wide. Lieutenant Jonah Reyes nodded from his console. Calm fingers flew over hollow keys. Live, Majesty. Seralith raised her scepter. It hummed broadcast. Ven Dominion, this is your queen. Raiders strike our heart. Joint defense holds. I transfer full battlefield authority to Sergeant Mara Kincaid of the Human Alliance. Obey her commands as mine. Victory or death. Static crackled. Reyes's eyes widened. Transmitted. Every comm, every drone feed. Tal's mandibles clicked. Majesty, no. Humans fracture under pain. She bleeds. Kincaid yanked the door wide. Corridor haze billowed in. Blaster fire popped distant. Grit your vents, Commander. We move. She charged first. Lance raised. Back spasmed. She ignored it. Seralith followed. Scepter primed. Tal's phalanx locked shields behind. Kincaid mag scanned the grid. Raider wedge pushed main hall. Drones swarming. Karun's bulk at the tip. Opportunist scum. Betting aliens shatter first. Blank left. Kincaid barked. Tal, shields, wedge. Queen high ground balcony. Grenades on my mark. She sprinted. Boots pounding deck. Pain lanced her side. She clamped harder. Lance barked. Bolt shredded a drone's leg. Raiders pivoted. Karun roared, claws gleaming. The Queen's pet human. Break her. Kincaid dove behind a pillar. Bolts scorched air. Reyes. Drones to suppress right flank. She popped out, fired twice. One drone crumpled. Back wound pulled taut. Vision blurred gray. Routine. Push through. Seralith scaled the balcony ladder. Her harness clinked. Sergeant? You're limp. Lead. Kincaid vaulted debris. Tal's shields bashed forward. Dominion guards synced, pikes thrusting. Human drill met alien precision. Drones faltered. Karun lunged through the gap. His strike lead smashed a guard aside. Claws raked for Kincaid. She parried with lance haft. Impact jarred her shoulder. Old scar ignited. Full fire. She dropped to one knee. Grit teeth. Rise. Mark. Seralith lobbed grenades. Arcs perfect. Explosions ripped the wedge. Drones vaporized. Karun staggered. Pauldron smoking. Kincaid surged. Pauldron rammed his midsection, drove him into wall. Lance thrust, thigh joint pierced. He howled. Claws swiped wild, caught her harness, tore straps. She twisted, fired point blank. Core shot bubbled armor. Karun slumped, claws twitched. Capture him! Kincaid yelled. Guards piled on. Restraints snapped. Raiders broke. Wedge collapsed. Dominion reserves poured in, pikes high. Tal burst from the phalanx. His guards leveled pikes at Kincaid. Stand down, human. You overstep, Commander. Seralith dropped from balcony. Voice steel. Order your guards down. Tal froze. Vents cycled. He scanned the routed Vec. Kincaid, bloodied. Lance, steady. Scar stark under lights. Guards, stand down. He slammed fist to chest. Saluted Kincaid. Full protocol. Before Queen and all. Kincaid straightened. Pain ebbed to hum. Reyes clapped her shoulder. Wedge gone. Palace secure. Seralith approached. Gloved hand extended. Touched the scar's edge. Old back wound. Proof of wars endured. Fingers traced ridges. No flinch from Kincaid. This. Human threshold. We rewrite doctrine now. She snapped holopad from harness. Activated joint war accord. Human resilience protocols. Shared command chains. Sign, Sergeant. Kincaid gripped stylus. Scrawled name. Together. Seralith signed below. Broadcast pinged. Empire-wide. Allied strength. Unbroken. Tal melt. Forgive my doubt, Sergeant. You redefine victory. Kincaid grinned. Wiped blood. Just another day. Alarms silenced. Reserves cheered. Human and alien voices mixed. Queen gripped Kincaid's arm. Crest flared gold. Trust forged. But outer sensors pinged. Vec reinforcements inbound. Karun stirred in bonds. Whispered to drone feed. Humans. They don't break. Kincaid hefted lance. Round 2? Sarah Lith nodded. Lead on.